Valentine's Day, my friends. I am very excited. It has already been such a beautiful weekend. I hosted a little Valentine's night with my close friends last night. I think it's really important to prioritize your friendships just as much as your romantic relationships. Listen, I love Valentine's Day. I am by nature a simp on the regular, so having an excuse to be overly affectionate with absolutely everybody in my life and having it be normalized it's my shit, quite honestly. But on that note, my boyfriend and I just got to our little staycation. We're still in California. We drove maybe like 4 or 5 hours up the coast. This place, you guys, is like insane. It's giving me imposter syndrome. We have a fireplace, we have bathrobes, we've got the little mini bar. It is wonderful. They left a bottle of complimentary champagne. We're in the big leagues now. Also, our room is 20 feet from the ocean. I can hear the waves as we speak. It's absolutely insane. I'll give you a full tour in the morning just because it's dark outside and that is not a way to see it. It won't do it justice, so we'll do the full tour in the morning. But welcome to the Valentine's Day vlog. We are gonna do some cutesy things and it's gonna be a fun time. A little elephant in the room. I'm sorry we're filming on my phone today. That is because my Canon RIP'd and is no longer with us. Hopefully we can get a new one. We're gonna get that situated this next week. I have an appointment with the Geek Squad. Fingers crossed. But for now, this is what we're working with. I don't think it's too bad. So we're gonna make do. A little problem. We may have missed last call for room service. So that's not great because we're kind of in a remote location and there's nowhere else we can eat, but we'll figure it out. Okay, crisis averted. They actually let us order as like the last people to order, I guess. And we got so much good food. It smells so good. And why did I just do that? And Daniel is so sweet. We can't obviously dine in. I mean, we could, but we decided not to. So we have takeout. And he like moved the table that we have in the room to this little spot so that we can turn on the fireplace and have like a little dinner together, which is just so thoughtful. Okay, so before we eat, we're gonna take a bath because I have a bunch of cute little goodies that I brought with us. I have these 2 cute little hearts. They're gonna make the water all pink. The infamous, what is it, love bomb? I don't know, but look at it. It looks out flower petals. So cute. I've never used one of these before, so I'm like super excited. And then we have this little set that's like supposed to be sleepy time theme, so that'll be perfect. We don't have a bathtub at home, so I am pulling out all of the stops. All right, we're gonna pop the bottle of, is it champagne or is it wine?
Oh, wine. Sparkling wine.
Oh, sparkling wine. We're gonna pop the bottle that the hotel gave us and save the one we brought for dinner so that we can drink it in the bathtub all fancy. I get scared. Okay, hold it. 2, 3. Our cute little setup. We got the fire going. We got some chicken with potatoes and vegetables, and then fettuccine alfredo, some side bread, and then we have some wine that we're popping open. We're gonna eat. This looks so good. Oh. All right. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, we're going. Oh my God. She's all bad. We got her a cute little Valentine's Day tutu. Look at how mad her is. Aww. She's like, I hate this family so much. See, let me see. Pretty girl. What is this? Bro, her arm's not even in her sleeve.
Good girl. Oh, it's through the loop. Oops.
Talk until we're dead. I love you to your heart and back. I love you to the top of your head. Oh, maybe we don't say anything and sit in silence instead. Your eyes that house 1,000 suns, your mouth that holds 1,000 guns. You pick me up and dust me off and tell me I'm better off. Never be early again.
peaceful little morning. We woke up and watched the sunrise from start to finish. It was beautiful. And then I was gonna try to stay up, but I crawled back into bed and I couldn't get out because the beds here are literally the best beds that I have ever experienced in my entire life. So I'm getting ready right now. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I wanted to do a get ready with me, but I didn't have time because I am always down to the last minute when we're checking out of a place. We are going to be going to Solvang today and eating at a restaurant, which I'm really excited about because they welcome pets, and I love when places welcome pets. I will always choose the place that lets Roxy come. I'm sorry if I didn't film enough clips last night. We went to sleep really late. I was trying to obviously like hang out with my boyfriend and not show the camera in his face all the time. I definitely wish that we would have booked 2 days here though, because this place is just spectacular. Also, side note, we were gonna steal these robes because they're like literally the best robes we've ever experienced. Like, these are amazing. Daniel went up to the front desk and asked them what they cost, and they're like $100. I'm like, yeah, it's not, we're not gonna do that. I just think it would have been funny if we would have taken them home and then we got that charge and we were like, someone's calling. Are we supposed to answer? Are they testing us? Because it's like 11:30.
Yeah, we should probably go.
Okay, hold on. I'm almost ready. Let me just throw on my clothes. They're calling to see if we're gone. This tour like the fastest thing ever. So here is the little bathroom area. There's a bathroom in there with a tub, but it's like demolished right now. There's towels all over the place. In here, they give us a lot of hangers actually, and 2 of those racks to lay your suitcases, which I appreciate because we always only have one and we always bring so much luggage. And then they also have a safe, some drawers if you're staying for a while, ironing stuff, you know, the basics. This is what it looks like. This is our huge, amazing, wonderful, best bed ever. And this is our little bar area, which was really nice because honestly, everything wasn't that expensive. Our little fireplace, we had this little nook that we were able to sit in when it was cold in the morning. So you can either sit there or here. And honestly, what is this view right now? Like, this is literally the most amazing thing. And if you want to have these closed, they have this little window that you can keep open so that you can hear the waves at night. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's wonderful. And then we go outside and this is beautiful. Okay, so we're exploring the grounds now and they have a life-size chessboard. It's so cute. Nice is you.
We should buy a one-way ticket and board onto a plane and fly it straight into a black hole somewhere out in outer space, girl. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's true. Baby, it's you.
Look at how frizzy being by the water makes my hair. Do you see this? Do you see this? This is not a drill. We gotta get this under control. We are 2-ish hours away from Solvang. It's like closer to Santa Barbara. So we will update you when we get there. We might not make it to the restaurant that we want to go to. So fingers crossed, but it'll work out. Ready? Let's go Okay, I was not kidding. Do you see this? Do you see this? This is insane. I'm so mad at myself because I forgot to pull out my vlog camera when we were in the bookstore, but I got a book from this cute little Solvang bookstore that's been open for like 50 years. People were so nice, but it was honestly just really packed and I just felt like it wasn't the time, you know? It's really, really busy here today and it's kind of overwhelming. Anyway, we're gonna drive home. It's like 4 hours to get home. We thought we were much closer than we were, but it's fine. I had fun. I think it was a fun time.
Oh yeah.
I like the bookstore. I was really impressed with the bookstore actually. They have like a really wide selection of like new books and old books. They had used books. It was really fun. So, would go again. But this is the book that I got. I'll be giving you guys updates. I'm currently reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle, the book that everybody's reading. I don't love it. I'm probably gonna do a review on it like on its own, like a whole video. I don't love it, but I'm trying to branch out into different genres and like different tropes because all I ever read is self-help and that's kind of exhausting. So, we'll see how I like it.
Baby, we could talk about it and talk until we're dead. I love you to your heart and back.
You know the vibes. I'm all bummy now. We're at the discount candy as we should. There's nothing good. I want something sour. I'm such a sour candy person. But this is cute. Rings it until it falls apart. Anyway. Okay, it is the next day. I figured I would end off this vlog with some self-care because I am my own most important Valentine, as cheesy as it sounds. And I think that it's really important to partake in self-care all the time, every day, in small ways, as much as you can. So, full transparency, these clips that I'm about to show you are from last night because I needed a little TLC after the long drive home. The Valentine's Day traffic throughout California yesterday was absolutely insane. We definitely underestimated it, which is fine. We saw a beautiful sunset, but nonetheless, it was still crazy and took a very long time. So I did all my unpacking today and all of that stuff, but last night I gave myself a lot of time to just like drink my tea, read my book, do a long shower. I'm obsessed with this podcast right now called Binge-topia by Eliza McLamb and her best friend. I don't know her best friend's name, but it's so good. It's basically like an FU to the patriarchy and is so good, so funny, so relatable, and like easy to follow along with and digest if you're not the most educated on all these topics. Really good. Love it so much. I'll link it down below and like show it here. But let's get into the self-care night. If you are somebody who finds Valentine's Day particularly disheartening, just know that love is something to celebrate, and self-love is obviously the most life-changing experience. It just completely alters your life. And self-care is definitely not just bubble baths and face masks, of course. It's definitely accountability and the willingness to change patterns that are not healthy. But recently, my biggest self-care indulgence has been reading. I love reading. And I was really burnt out with reading for a long time. I think I talked about this briefly yesterday because all I would ever read was self-help. It was all the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, You Are a Badass, The Alchemist. It was all of those things, which are all so good and definitely have contributed to my success as a person and my character development. But I realized I never read anything that's just like for pleasure. Like it's just fun. It's just like completely unrelated to my life. It's like switching on the TV and watching something. And that has been such a release to me. I cannot even begin to tell you how obsessed I am with it. And I'm excited to make videos individually about book recommendations because it seems like that's a whole community. And I love having community, and I would love to just be able to talk to people about books and have them actually care and like have input. But with that being said, let's partake in some self-care. If you're watching this, do your self-care as well. We love to see it, and I love you. On the topic of love, on the topic of Valentine's Day and relationships and all that wonderful, messy, beautiful chaos, I thought that I would talk a little bit about relationships. Not necessarily mine. I guess mine in like an applicable sense, but not specifically. Not that I am in any position to give relationship advice as a 21-year-old navigating her way through the world who has an existential crisis every 3 days. I'm definitely not in the position. But I do get asked very frequently by people in my life how I have managed to maintain such a healthy relationship for years down the line, and it seems like it just ages like fine wine. Honestly, I have a partner and a partnership that just feels so nourishing, and it feels like rising in love and not falling in love, which is so cheesy and like so crazy maybe because I never thought I would be this person who uses analogies like that and is so sprung over a person, but I definitely am. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that you can make the honeymoon phase last forever. So without further ado, I figured I would just give you some tips, give you my input. Please don't hold me accountable if this ruins your life. So relationships are complex and definitely take a lot of work. However, the advice that I have is actually refreshingly simple, depending on how you look at it. To start off, I know that this sounds almost meticulous and almost sounds ridiculous, But one of the biggest tips that I have is to maintain the same niceties that you would with a stranger, with your partner, no matter how long you have been together. So you would be so surprised at how far a please and a thank you and I appreciate that will go. Even if it seems like the most meticulous and unnecessary thing ever, make it a point to make your statements sound like, when you get a chance, can you please pass me that, instead of, hey, pass me that. I know that it sounds ridiculous, especially if you have a relationship that's more based on friendship. I think when your relationship evolves from a friendship, it's a little bit harder to speak to each other and like respectfully, as messed up as that sounds, because you're just so used to having this banter back and forth. But you can still have that while maintaining respect in your relationship. Oh, here's a really good example. So my boyfriend and I tend to still go out on dates almost every single weekend. On Sundays, we always do a special thing, whether it be breakfast or go out to San Diego for the day or whatever the case is. And at the end of every single date, 3 years down the line up to this moment, he always looks over at me at the end of our dates and says, thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for doing this with me. And that to me it's such a simple thing, but it's so important to me because it just is so revealing of the fact that he appreciates my time and realizes that I have other areas of my life that I'm invested in and that I'm choosing to invest time into this part of my life. It definitely is refreshing to feel like my time is appreciated and he doesn't just expect it from me. He doesn't just think that because we're together, he has all of this unlimited access to me whenever he wants. I mean, he does, because I'm a simp, but you know, we all have priorities and it's important to respect that your partner is a human being outside of being your partner and they have so many different plants that they want to water. This is one thing that I actually had to teach my boyfriend when we first started dating, because he is such a lover and is so dedicated to the people in his life. He's a cat moon, it's in his blood, and he's wildly passionate because he's also a Scorpio. And it's just who he is. He is completely and utterly devoted to the people that are in his life, and it's one of my favorite things about him. But I had to teach him at the beginning of our relationship that just because we were together didn't mean that I expected to be his number one priority. I wanted him to be his number one priority. And I think that this is something that's really important to emphasize in relationships, is that every person has a garden, right? So you want to make sure that you are watering every single plant in your garden. So you may have a plant for work, school, friends, family, gym, music, theater, whatever your hobbies are. You have all these plants and you want to make sure that you're watering every single one, so that if maybe there's a dry season where school is going really badly, you have other plants that you can focus on while that one is rehabilitating. It's not like your one plant dies and you're sitting there crying over it because you have nothing else in your garden to sustain yourself with. It is very important to maintain different areas in your life where you are being fulfilled. And it's always been very important to me as a person who was raised in a one-parent home and a person who, you know, was always surrounded by a lot of women, to be independent and to not base my entire life around my partner. That's always been something that has been heavily instilled into me. So much so that when I was actually adopted and I had two parents, it was a really weird adjustment for me to have two people to go to for things, two people to consult for a decision. I think that was definitely a really big shock for me. Anyway, so first thing is definitely just to make sure that you are maintaining those levels of respect, because over time you do definitely appreciate that there's this bar that's been set for how you communicate with each other. And even though it might feel meticulous at first, it just becomes habit. You just say things in a respectful way. You just ask for things in a respectful way. You just make sure that you always throw in a little, hey, I appreciate that you did that, or hey, I know that you mentioned this. I just want you to know, ... It just really pays off and sets the standard for how you're going to communicate. Next thing is just being considerate and being a good human. I know that also sounds so like basic to say, But honestly, being considerate is something that in the topic of relationships, it doesn't get talked about as much as it does with friendships, which is actually really funny because your relationship at its core should be a friendship. And by consideration, I mean a lot of different things. Here are a few examples. If I am out with my friends and our last stop before I get home is the coffee shop, and I know that I'll be home in 10 minutes, this is our last stop, I will text my boyfriend and say, hey, we just stopped at Starbucks up the street, do you want anything? I'm about to be home. Simple. I know that he likes it. I know that he might be in the middle of his workday and could use a boost. Not a problem. I'm already there. If I notice that when we go grocery shopping, he has eaten all the bananas before I've had a chance to get one, I will take a mental note. Oh, he's really into bananas right now. So next time that I am at the grocery store, I will grab a few to make sure that he has some to pick on. I don't have to do that. Obviously, he can do it for himself, but there's just nice things that you like to do. On some days, I like to drive out to San Diego and watch the sunrise, like as it's actually happening. So I will leave super early when it's still dark outside. And Sundays are actually the only days that my boyfriend doesn't work throughout the week. So I will make it a priority to wake up really early with like minimal alarms. And when I'm grabbing all of my clothes, I won't turn the light on because I don't want to wake him up because it's his only day to sleep in. I will be as quiet as possible, leave with no noise, and just prepare the night before to be gone, if that makes sense, without making any noise. Another thing that is definitely really important is just the subtle art of communication, right? You can never over communicate. So even if you think something isn't important, if it's not a big deal, then you'll have no issue with just putting it out there. I think that there's a very fine line. I think that this can be done in a very healthy way, in a very controlling way. I think it's important to take inventory of how healthy these habits are and to check in and make sure that they're being executed in a way that is fair to both people. Because I definitely think that communication can be twisted into, you know, the whole stereotype that's like, my boyfriend won't let me, oh, he gets mad if I do this, da da da. Because ultimately at the end of the day, like, yes, you are in a partnership that you agreed to be in, but you are two completely different people. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's important to just give them more details than they asked for because you can never over communicate. And by this I mean, here's an example. If I say that I am going to be out with my friend Emily, okay, and we're going to drive to the beach and watch the sunset, and I just told my boyfriend, like, hey, I'm driving to the beach with Emily tonight, like, you know, whatever. He's like, yeah, whatever, have fun. And then suddenly she's like, oh, I actually want to stop by this boy's house. I left like a school book there the other day. I don't know. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. We can stop by there. It's on the way. And we pull up. I'm going to text my boyfriend and let him know, hey, I know I said that we were going to be at the beach, but I just want to let you know, like, we stopped at this guy's house for this and this and this, whatever. Okay, cool. Not a big deal. Letting him know so that if for whatever reason it comes up another day, if, you know, say me and my boyfriend and Emily are out at dinner one time and Emily's like, yeah, remember that day we stopped at that boy's house, my boyfriend doesn't have the risk of looking dumb because he doesn't know what's going on. He's not going to have that moment where he's like, you guys went to a boy's house one time and I don't know anything about it, and it creates something in his mind that he has to worry about when there's nothing to worry about, if that makes sense. So that's just kind of what I mean by over communicating, just letting them know all the small things and all the big things so that they're completely in the know and they never have to make scenarios in their head that aren't there, and they never have to stress about it. There are many other tips. Relationships are very complex and every relationship is so different. And obviously as we grow, we get better at relationships. I have definitely not always been as wise in relationships. I think that we all have periods in our lives where we have been a toxic contributor to a relationship, whether it be because of our circumstances or because of lack of growth or because of situations that we're dealing with. But I think as we get older and as we put the work into character development, we get better at understanding these things. Also, one last thing, it is exponentially important to understand your partner's love language. If you're not familiar with love languages, there are 5. It's actually a book written by someone, I believe. I'll put the link down there if you're interested in that. But there's so many videos on it at this point, and it's basically just learning how people like to be loved and utilizing those to the best of your advantage, because the way that my boyfriend might want to give love might be through physical touch, right? And that's in his mind, when he gives me physical touch, like he's showing me that he loves me. But I might not like physical touch. I might like words of affirmation. So he can hold my hand all day and it's not going to do anything for me. But if he gives me one word of affirmation, it's going to make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So the way that you are willing to give love is not always the way that people want to receive love. And I think that is so important to understand. My sister actually hates physical touch, and for the longest time I would give her hugs growing up, and our relationship significantly improved when I focused more on how she wanted to be communicated with and how she wanted to be loved versus the way that I wanted to love her. And not taking personal offense because she didn't want my hugs. It wasn't even about me, it was about her. So anyway, this is the whole thing. This is more than I was planning to talk about. So just keep in mind, I don't know everything. I'm not like a licensed relationship coach. Every relationship is different and we are ever evolving. So that being said, thank you for watching this crazy like compilation of a Valentine's Day weekend video. I hope that you had a wonderful Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or self-care day, whatever you did. I love Valentine's Day. And I love you for watching. Thank you so much. I will see you guys soon. Bye.